I've been attracted to boys since I was 4 years old. I remember not knowing really what it was until like 8th grade. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know why I felt like that. I had crushes on lots of people, never tried anything. There was one kid I wanted to mess around with, but I just couldn't get up the courage to ask.
Ever in your life have you been in love?
Yeah, one. Twice. Twice. That's...
So you know what that is?
I think so. I think I do. Well, the second person that I fell in love with is when I was here, and I remember that he, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. He came home one day, and I knew he was looking for a job because he had been unemployed for a while, and he was looking for a job, and I knew he was applying at a college, a university somewhere, and I remember he came home one day and he said that he got that job, and I remember curling up in a ball and crying on the bed for hours, uncontrollable, because I didn't want him to leave. I loved him. I still do, and we're good friends. That was hard. That was hard.
Are you open to loving again?
Oh, I'm open to loving, but not being in love, because right now it's not an option. It's not an option for me.
How come?
Because of the choices that I've made to be active in the church. It is the only thing that has brought peace to my life. Yeah, there was a 7-8 year period when I decided that I was done with the church thing. I had to try, this other side of my life, to see, okay, will this work for me? 7-8 years, and it was probably the most unpeaceful time in my life. I mean, there was a huge hole that I couldn't fill with anything. Sex didn't do it. The little bit of alcohol that I didn't do it. There was nothing that could fill that hole. And after it was when I got the cancer that I decided to try it again. It's like, why not? It was another turning point. And I kind of felt at that time it was also somebody was trying to get a hold of me, and I just hadn't been listening. I hadn't been listening, and it was the cancer is what it took for me to be still long enough, to be incapacitated long enough to listen and get a message. And that's when I went back and really became active and just said, okay, this is it.
So do you go to church every week?
I do. Yeah. I skip every once in a while like everybody else, but I like to go. I like going.
Do people know you're gay, or do you think of yourself, you're like, I'm gay, even though you're not acting on it? Do you feel it's something that you are, or it's an action?
It's something that I am. Oh, yeah, definitely. Just like, someone with an amputated arm, they're a person with an amputated arm. I'm a person that's gay. I'm attracted to men. That's all there is to it. I'm sure people know, I don't, it's not such a big thing that I wear a sign or actively tell people, because it's kind of like, sure, it's part of me, but it's not all of me. And if people ask, I've had people just straight up ask, I'll tell them, yeah, I'll say yeah, but I won't bring it up in conversation,
right.
Because that's the first way to be ostracized. And it's like, what, I try to be the good neighbor and the good, the good person in the neighborhood and the ward, because I like to be that way. I like to help. I like to help people, and So, but if they, if people ask, and in fact, actually, an older couple that was staying with me, she didn't necessarily ask, but it's come up in conversations, and she's kind of like, you know what, it's none of my business. It's your life. You need to live it the way you want to, and I'll love you for who you are. Doesn't make any difference to me. And I heard, I overheard her and her sister talking, and the sister was asking, well, is he gay? And she said, what does it matter? And I thought, that's awesome. What does it matter?
Have you then made a decision in your life? Like, how are you going to live the rest of your life? You're going to be celibate?
I'm going to be a celibate, lonely man. Because it is, and I'm very lonely, and it's very hard. And I think that's part of my attitude now, is that, and I think I told you this before, but I've decided that if the cancer comes back, I'm not fighting it. What do I have to live for? I don't have a family. I don't have a spouse. I don't have someone that I can spend time with. I don't have kids. What's the point?
But do you think you could have those things, or no?
I could if I found the right woman. I've even from a child, when I was attracted to men, I've always wanted to be married, and I've always wanted to have kids. And I did see myself being married to women, even though I had this inner conflict. Because, and you're going to love this, because that's what seemed normal to me, because that's what I saw. That's what, that's how we were raised. And so it's kind of I don't know if you'd call it a brainwashing normalcy, but it seemed normal to me. And so I think all growing up, it's like, that's what I wanted, and I would love to have kids.
What if the church was like, okay, we sanction gay marriage?
Oh, wow.
Would you be comfortable, like, if you fell in love with a guy, starting a family and having kids and that whole 9 yards?
If that's the revelation that they received, then yes. Yeah.
But in lieu of that, which probably won't happen soon.
Probably not in my lifetime.
Probably not.
No.
But I think it will happen eventually. I think it's inevitable, actually.
And it's been a real struggle for me with this whole Proposition 8 thing, because I do want equality. I do. I mean, I know how much I suffer and how much I want someone to come home to. And I say, I want everyone to be happy. And when it comes to the Proposition 8, and people are like, well, you have to be, either on one side or the other. And I'm like, you know what? The church organization is run by men. They make mistakes. We all make mistakes. What I believe is the gospel, and the gospel is true. And so, even though you have men, I don't know how to put it, trying to run the church as best as they can, they still make mistakes, and so I've tried to stay away from that whole thing, because it's just, it doesn't do anyone any good, and until the church comes out and says, oh yeah, they'll support gay marriage, what's the point of fighting it? It's not going to do any good. I mean, because you see in the past, it doesn't matter how much you beat your head against the wall, it's not going to come down until the people on the other side of the wall are ready to take it down. And so that's my whole attitude with that. But I do hope that, whether or not the gay marriage thing passes, I hope that, people can live in couples and don't need that piece of paper to say, oh, we're a couple, we're together, that type of thing.